You know, SoundPeats is a company that I hadn't heard of until they actually reached out to me to review some of their products. And I'm really happy they did because overall I think they make a really good product. And today I want to talk about the Capsule 3 Pro Plus earbuds. Now, they are not a brand new earbud. They've been out for a little over a year now, but when they did come out, that was one of their flagship earbuds. And I think that they still are a really strong contender in today's market if you're looking for a pair of earbuds that are similar to like AirPods Pro or the Galaxy Buds Pro or something like that. Now, if you are looking for something that's more like your traditional AirPod that doesn't have an ear tip, they do offer the Air 5. I did make a video on those, so I'll put a link down in the video description if that's something that you're interested in. We're going to do a quick unboxing of the Capsule 3 Pro Plus, and then I just want to talk about my experience using these over the last couple of months. Taking a look at the packaging, this is what the front of the Capsule 3 Pro Plus looks like, and then we're going to flip this over. Feel free to pause this if you want to take a look at some of the specifications here on the actual box. Now, as we open this up and we take a closer look at the actual packaging, they put all of the paperwork here in the lid, so we're going to go ahead and pull that out and take a look at it first. And the first thing we're greeted with is a pamphlet to download their app. We have a very nice user guide here, and then last but not least, we do have some of their Panda stickers, which they're known for providing. We also get a Type-C to Type-A cable, as well as some earbud tips, and here's a closer look at the two sizes in the bag. The headphones themselves also come with the size medium tips already installed on them. Now, if we go ahead and we open up the actual earbuds and take a closer look at those, you'll see that we have a nice matte finish here on the case with the inscription of "Hear Your Imagination" on the front, and that's kind of their motto. Looking at the bottom, we have our Type-C port as well as a pairing button, and then flipping it over on the back, we do have some nice SoundPeats insignia here on the back of the actual product itself. Now, if we open these up and we take a closer look at the actual earbuds themselves, you will see that they are also a nice matte finish with the nice gold accents as well, with the SoundPeats logo in the middle of the actual stem of the earbud. The earbud itself does have some insignia here in the middle on the inside of the stem to show you whether or not it's the left or the right earbud, and then you can see that it has multiple microphone cutouts, and then on the bottom we have our charging port contacts. Overall, the earbud feels really nice. It feels like a quality product, and aesthetically it looks really good and really clean. Now, if we go ahead and take a closer look at the actual case itself, it is magnetic, so you'll see that the earbuds do lock into place here, and it does feel really good, and it is very secure. And I'm going to show that here in just a second. So if we take a look at the actual hinge here on the lid, it is also very strong, and you can see in my shake test that it's not closing even with a really hard shake. So overall, the design on that is really good. Same thing with the magnets that actually hold the earbuds in place. I couldn't get these things to fall out even trying to like shake it as hard as I could. So they did a really good job here with the actual design of both the case and the earbuds and just keeping everything together. I even attempted to do this again, and I tried to do it a lot harder, and I still couldn't get the earbuds to fall out. So props to SoundPeats for the design of the product. Now, if we take a look at some of the key features of the Capsule 3 Pro Plus, it does have that high-res audio codec, the LDAC codec. I'm not able to take advantage of that because I don't use a service like Tidal Music, but if you do, you would be able to take advantage of that. It does have a 12mm driver, and it is using the XMEMS or Extreme Micro Electro-Mechanical System. That's going to give you really crisp, clean highs, and overall, I think they did a really good job packaging this together because the sound quality on the earbuds, in my opinion, is phenomenal. And we're going to get into the app in a little bit, but you're able to really fine-tune how these sound, and I think that most people, if you take the time to set them up, they're really going to like the actual sound quality you get out of these earbuds, especially at this price point. Now, it does also have adaptive ANC. I think that also works really well. I wouldn't say that it's quite Bose level, but it is very good. I would say that it's better than the ANC that comes in my Beats Fit Pro, and that's coming from a company that's much larger and probably has a more financial backing than SoundPeats does. And for them to be able to deliver a product that is better than that at a lower price point, I think says a lot. Now, they do have a 6-mic system for what they're calling AI-powered clear calls. I don't really know a good way to test that per se. I did put a clip here a little bit in the video where I kind of let you hear what it sounds like, and I have some music playing in the background. But overall, I didn't have any issues at all while I was using this for phone calls, and I feel like it did a really good job drowning out all the background noise from my perspective, having the earbuds in my ears. Now, from the caller standpoint, we'll get into that a little bit later in the video. They're offering 43 hours of total playback time. That's including the complete charge of the actual case, as well as the earbuds, and that's not using any of the modes, just to be clear. So the modes, transparency mode, noise canceling, stuff like that, when you start turning all of these things on, it's going to degrade the actual playback time that you're getting because you're using more of the actual battery. It does have multi-point connection with Bluetooth 5.3, and I did find that to work really well. I was able to connect this to more than one device at a time, and I didn't have any issues or cutouts or lag. And then they are IPX4 water resistant, which is really good. Now, I do want to make it clear that they are not waterproof, but they are basically sweat resistant. So you can use these in the gym. You can use them in a humid area. You're not going to have any problems with them shorting out or any kind of degradation to the actual speaker or anything like that. Now we're going to go ahead and move on, and we're going to just take a quick look at the actual SoundPeats application so you can see kind of what you get once you get these all paired up, and we'll kind of run through all of the different options and stuff that you get in the actual mobile application. So taking a look at the app here, once you have them paired up, you'll be greeted with a screen that shows you all of the different SoundPeats earbuds that you own. So you can just go ahead and select the pair that you're trying to connect to in the app once you open the app. Now, once you do that, you're greeted with this screen here where you can see all of the different functions of the actual Capsule 3 Pro Plus earbuds. You'll be able to see the battery life of the actual earbuds themselves, as well as the case if you have the case open. And then you have 3 different modes that we can choose from here: transparency mode, normal mode, and noise canceling. And they basically just do exactly what their name states. So transparency mode is going to allow you to hear your environment around you while you're wearing the earbuds. Normal mode is basically having all the microphones on the actual earbuds themselves turned off, so you're not using noise canceling. Or transparency mode is just like a normal pair of earbuds, and then noise canceling obviously is your ANC, so if you don't want to hear any loud noises or music around you or people talking, you would go ahead and turn that on. And it does actually work really well. Now, we do have some other features here at the bottom. It does have the ability to turn on and off connecting to multiple devices. You can disable or enable the touch functions on each of the earbuds. So if we press on the actual SoundPeats logo on the side of the earbud, that's how you're able to use some of those touch functions like playing and pausing, skipping to a next track, turning volume up and down, or switching between some of the different modes here. It does have a game mode, which basically just changes the latency of the earbuds. So if you're playing games, you can turn that on, and it should drop any kind of lag that you may experience in terms of you needing to be able to react to something that's on the screen. It's happening real time in the earbud instead of like, when you watch like a YouTube video, and sometimes when you use Bluetooth headphones, the words don't match what the mouth is moving in the video. So if you experience something like that, you can turn game mode on, and it should help a lot. Now, I haven't personally experienced that while using these earbuds, but if you did need to turn that on, you can. And then we have a little custom key thing in here where you can go in and you can actually change all of the different touch functions of the actual earbuds themselves. Now, if we take a look at the 3 lines here in the top right-hand corner and we go ahead and we select that, that's going to take us to the device status. So you'll see we have device information, firmware upgrade, you can reset the earbuds, and then you can look at the different languages for the actual prompts. So when you change the functions in the actual earbuds themselves, it will give you an audible acknowledgement that you've turned on or off a function. An example of that would be if you turned on transparency mode, in your ear you would hear transparency mode on. Right out of the box, I did have a firmware upgrade, so it's really good to see that SoundPeats is still actually supporting this device, even though it is over a year old. A lot of companies drop support right after launch. They might come out with 1 or 2 firmware upgrades to fix some minor bugs, but for the most part, you don't see them long-term offering firmware updates on stuff like this. So it is good to see that we are on version 15, and they are still updating this earbud to this day. Now, if we go back and we take a look at the bottom row, you see you have a house that takes you to this home screen, and then the middle one here is going to be your EQ, And we have some presets in here. You can set a custom EQ as well. And then the thing I really like about this is I have adaptive EQ turned on, and I'll show you what that looks like here. But basically you're going to go through and you're going to take like a little hearing test, and it's going to adjust the EQ based onto the tones that you actually hear in the hearing test, and it will intentionally omit the ones that you can't hear at all. So I think that's a really neat feature. I personally think that it actually made the earbuds sound a lot better. I know there's some people that might think that it's crazy, and I know that when I first did it, I didn't think it was going to do anything at all, and it was kind of gimmicky, but in my opinion, and this is subjective, I thought that it worked really well, and it really amplified the sound quality of the earbuds. Now, if we click on the person on the bottom panel here all the way to the right, you will see that we have access to the user manual, some support functions, and then some frequently asked questions, and you can look at the app version and stuff like that. And that's about all there is here in the actual app itself. All right, so I've been using these to work out, and I haven't had any issues with them at all. They've stayed in my ear. The fit's pretty good. Sound quality overall is also really good. I haven't had any problems with them, whether I'm working out here at home or if I'm working out at the local gym. I'm able to leave my phone like at the Smith machine or whatever machine I'm using in the gym, and then I can go refill my water bottle or do whatever I need to do, and I don't have any problems with connections or static or anything like that. So overall, they've been really good, and I just kind of wanted to show you really quickly what they look like when they're in. So this is what they look like in your ear. I can't really see the camera. Hopefully that's focusing for you guys. But yeah, overall the fit's really good. They're comfortable. I haven't had any kind of like ear fatigue or anything like that. So these have been pretty good. Now I will say that depending on how long you want to work out and whether or not you're trying to use like transparency mode or noise canceling or some of the different features that are built into the Peats audio application, that will significantly reduce the battery life that these have. So just keep that in mind. You should be able to get through a full workout unless you're like someone who spends half a day at the gym. Overall, that is the only concern I've had thus far using these over the last month or so, is if you were to go on a really long flight or something like that, you're more than likely going to have to put these back in the case and let them charge back up for a little bit. But you should be able to get through at least a movie or something like that before they're dead. But just kind of keep that in mind. So really quick, I just wanted to do a quick test so that you could hear the actual audio quality of the SoundPeats Capsule 3 Pro Plus earbuds. So if you wanted to use these for any kind of like phone calls, video conferencing, or doing like audio notes or something like that, this is what it's going to sound like if you were to use them for that. Now, I do have the noise canceling turned on these headphones, so I can't really hear myself talk all that well. Transparency mode does work pretty good in terms of being able to hear everything around you. But what I want to do now is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn some music on my computer here. And you'll see I have my Upbeat.io account brought up here so that I won't get flagged for any kind of copyright stuff. And then I'm just going to hit play. And I just want to see if you can still hear me talking and how well you can actually hear the background music. So I have the speaker for my computer right here, and then the other one's over there. But the point is, I want to see how well this actually works in terms of, can you still hear everything that I'm saying even though I have music playing in the background? Or is it really hard to hear what I'm saying? Now, I haven't tested or like listened to this yet, so I can't give you an answer until I do that. But this is going to be helpful for those of you that want to use these like in an airport or somewhere that's going to be really busy and loud around you. Are people going to be able to hear you if you need to talk on the phone or do something else? Now, I do wish that the earbuds had in-ear detection. That's really the only thing that I think that they're missing, at least from my perspective. And I kind of noticed that a couple of times when I was using them. The touch controls on them are really sensitive too, so I would take them out of my ear to like talk to my wife or my kids or something if I was using them around the house. And I would notice that with them just sitting in my hand, it would change the different modes from like transparency mode to noise canceling and so on and so forth, just from having them in the palm of my hand. So the touch controls are sensitive, which, you know, on one hand, that's better than them not being sensitive, because the last thing you want to do is have like sweaty hands. You're in the gym working out, you're trying to turn the volume up or down or change tracks or play pause or something like that, and it doesn't work, and you keep tapping it to where you have to just take it out of your ear anyway. So It's not that it's a bad thing. I just wish that they had in-ear detection so that when you take the earbud out of your ear, the music just automatically paused, and then all of those controls were inherently disabled until you put the earbud back in your ear. It's not the end of the world, and I know that SoundPeats is actively working to put that in some of their newer headphones. I just haven't had a chance to test any of the headphones that may have that at this point in time. But that's about all I have for this video. So if you liked it, I'd appreciate it if you give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If you have any questions, hit me up down in the comments, and I'm going to put links down in the video description for everything. So if you want to check these out further or maybe purchase a pair of them, I'll have links for everybody down there. That's about all I got. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.